Welcome back. Now we'll continue our series on the road to 2015. The elections will be happening in February next year, and I have two special guests here with me to talk about politics in the week that was and what you'll be looking forward to in the coming months. Opeyemi Ahmed is here with me. Thanks for being here today.
It's a pleasure.
And Emmanuel Nwachukwu, thanks for coming.
I'm honored.
I mean, we can't start anything without talking about the House of Representatives, which was pretty heated in the last week. We saw pretty embarrassing images coming from there, and we still don't have a lot of explanations as to what exactly happened. What was going through your mind when you saw those things?
What do you expect from Nigerian politicians?
Peace? Organization?
What do you expect? But what I really saw on that day was that members could not abide with the law. It was just like a gimmicks for them to just wake up in the morning and just plan something they really want to do. I, for one, strongly believe our honorable members, no matter the situation you find yourself, there are three aspects which have the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. It's all about check and balances. And even though something went wrong prior to that time, I expect the honorable members should come in politely. What the message I was...
It seemed like they were trying to come in politely before everything went crazy.
Nobody was coming in politely from the footage you saw. What really happened was that you saw some certain set of people outside. Some people are already in. How did the senators come in? How did the workers come in? How did the PDP legislators come in? How did the APC legislators come in? Because if you look at the footage where Tabua was, the population that was there was not up to 100. And you all know that the total number of APC National House of Representative members are more than 100. The whole people there are just 50 or thereabouts. It shows that 8 and people wearing Agbada in form of...
So are you insinuating that... what are you insinuating exactly now?
What I'm insinuating exactly is that our honorable members should please play according to the rules and obey the Constitution.
Emmanuel, I don't know. We saw a lot of things happening that day on TV. We've heard a lot of stories about, certain people trying to come in and they were prevented after some people had gotten. I don't know if that exactly what the story was. But what went through your mind when you saw those clips yourself?
First and foremost, actually I was at work when someone called me and said, legislators are jumping fence. And I was like, wow. And I turned my TV and then I saw honorable members fly in the fence. And I was like, what's going on here? And I followed the story and I was ashamed. Yes, it is shameful to see honorable members jump the fence, but the first question I asked was, why was the gate locked? And then I found out that policemen came, locked up the gates, and they were going to stop some persons from coming in. When I read the report from the police, they said they got security report that hoodlums are going to come here and there. Okay, without prejudice, they got the report. Now, did the report also say that you should stop the Speaker of the House of Assembly from coming in? It is shameful that sometimes we abuse power, sometimes we abuse processes. Now, the Speaker got to the first gate. He was stopped. From the report I read, he was stopped. He had to identify himself to go through. Does Tamba really need to identify himself at the National Assembly to pass through gates? Does Tamba look like a hoodlum? Now, these men came to perform their lawful duties. Allow them. Now, the police is meant to protect. Does protecting Tambora and the others, I don't care if they're APC or they're PDP, does firing tear gas canisters at them also include protecting them?
I mean, something that a lot of people have also asked as well is the fact that if you're a National Assembly member, you're an elected member of the House, you're in legislature, you make the law, which means you should keep the law. You get to a gate and it's closed. Is the next thing to do jumping over the fence? Why not move back or call the Inspector General of Police? Why did they have to resort to that embarrassing move?
Okay, now, let's be as Nigerian as we can. Now, we have witnessed in Nigeria, almost the same day, 7 persons impeached a speaker and he stood. Just last week, the Supreme Court overruled an impeachment of the Taraba State's deputy governor after 2 years. Now the question is, why must we abuse the law and then ask the other party to live by the law? Now this whole issue came about from Tambua defecting from APC to PDP. Now
there are, PDP to APC.
Oh, sorry, PDP to APC. Now, there are clear ways of going about effecting the vacation of Tambua from office. I don't know, I've not seen that part that says, get policemen to stop him from coming to office. Now, that itself is an abuse of the law. It's an abuse of power. Now, you abuse a man's rights, and you expect him to be civil. it does not really work that way.
Doesn't that make sense to you now? Which is why I asked you at the beginning, what are you driving at? I mean, it was obvious that someone's rights were being stepped on.
No right was stepped on. Let me give you this clarification today. I was going through the section 68(1)(g). I took my time to read over it that for you to cross carpets in the National Assembly, 3 things are involved. Number 1 is either your party, there's faction in your party. Number 2, the issue of merging, like the one we have in APC now. Those people can always assist those in ANPP because they merge. Number 3 is when one faction of the party join another party. All these 3 conditions, Tabua does not fall into these 3 conditions. Number 2 thing is, again, serious times of number. The police is there to just obey and comply with the Constitution. You will have been aware sometimes when some members, executive members, are impeached. What the police will just do is to withdraw the security details going through by the Constitution. Sometimes many governors by May 29, their tenure will be over. Do you expect those governors to use the high number of security details again? What will happen is for the IGP to withdraw those police security details. So what happened in the case of Tambua, after interpreting that Constitution, section 68(1)(g), even let me refer you to the case of Edo State. You see, one thing I've come to discover in Nigerian politics is that I want people to always know that APC, PDP, they play the game the way they want it. I am not the kind of person, I'm a party member, so I'm here to talk straight. But the truth about everything is that APC, in Edo State, for example, the Speaker of the House, I think Mr. Uyi, interpret the law, section 101, 1G, Assembly 1G, and he removed him, he said he told Mr. Momo to vacate his seat for cross-carpeting from APC to PDP. Once it happens from APC to PDP, the law is okay. But when it moves from PDP to APC, you see people start quoting different kinds of grammar.
Yeah, but then again, people have said, I mean, the House had adjourned to December. As long as he hasn't been kicked out as Speaker, he's still the Speaker of the House of Representatives, whether I would like it or not. The police did not elect him as Speaker, did they?
Let me give you this point again. Do you notice the 37 members that deferred from APC to PDP, from PDP to APC? When the justice gave, I think Justice Adeniji Ademola of Abuja High Court, he gave the judgment. And didn't know the interpretation from the APC members. They said the judgment simply means they could not vacate their seats. It simply means they will not be able to vote for principal officers. And you all know, Tambua is number 4 citizen as a PDP member. There is no faction in Sokoto. There is no faction at the national level. There is no merging of PDP joining that party. So for him leaving, automatically he should resign.
Mano, you're going to say something?
Yes, I'm going to say something. Let's take a look at the provision of the Constitution. The Constitution is very, very clear. Now, the Constitution at section 109 deals with the House of Representatives, especially when it has to do a member, why a member should vacate office. Now, it says that in sub G, it says that if a member comes from the party where he was elected to another party, then he should vacate the office. Now, there is
Professor,
2 things that are a little bit confusing here. Now, the next part says that if there's a faction in the party, now that legislator can rest on that and then we not need to vacate. Now, realize that there's an issue in Sokoto State, in PDP, where Tambua claimed that, what his name, Tony Anini came to mediate in a crisis in PDP and he was not invited to the meeting. Now, Tambua could claim that there's a faction in PDP. Claim. Now, notice, claim. Also, subsection 2 of that same part now gives the Speaker the powers to do the vacating. I don't know if you're following me. Now, Tambua is the person that has moved from PDP to APC. Tambua is the person with the constitutional powers to vacate himself from office. Now, what happens if Tambua does not vacate himself from office? Do we resort to chaos? No. There comes the court. Interestingly, only the court has the constitutional powers to interpret the law. Well, up until I got into the studio, I've not been told that the police now can interpret laws.
You want to prove me wrong. I've not said the police interpret laws. What I simply mean is I gave you analysis. What I mean analysis was the issue of people impeached, their security details are being withdrawn, tenure expiration, security details are being withdrawn. Simply that it is right of the Nigerian police, the IG, to withdraw when you go against what the Constitution says. But the issue I wanted to clarify, you said the issue of Tony Anini. I'm strictly a PDP member, So I expect you, I know what is happening in my party. You said the word claimed, but that word is not found. So don't use the word, the statement is not found. There is no division in Sokoto. You should know if there will even be division. There was a time of new PDP and the old PDP. And the new PDP have moved to APC. Why now? Almost a year.
Mr. Ahmed, now, when there is a dispute, when there is a disagreement, where do we go to?
Definitely, when they went to the courts, this was so interesting. The court just said, well, maintain status quo.
What is status quo?
Definitely, that's what you should go and mean. I'm not a lawyer.
I mean, status quo means that somewhere remains the speaker.
As when they went to the courts, you should get this straight.
Has there been any pronouncement from the courts?
You said something about...
Okay, let's